Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. Hurricane Ida tax relief extended to February 15th for part or all of 6 qualifying states. But first, an attempt at a joke. I apologize in advance. The goal of the IRS and government in general is to create a revenue generation. Imagine it, an entire generation that just gives the government 100% of their revenue, no questions asked. A government revenue generation. Once we have achieved a government revenue generation, utopia will surely be upon us, just as prophesied in the chronicles of the progressive priests of old. We can then distribute wealth in a fair and equitable way. Like starting with the people in my immediate family, and then moving on to more distant family members. Not including my cousin Sam, though, because I don't like that guy. And then moving on to other super important people, like those guys that make those movies and music and stuff that I like. Maybe the revenue generation is what comes after Generation Z. No, actually, they just started over at Generation A again, which doesn't make much sense. You can't just start over at Generation A. Shouldn't it at least be Generation AA? Which would be kind of funny. People could say things like, hey, I need to pick my 5-year-old up from his group of friends. You know, their AA group. IR 2021-254, December 22nd, 2021, Washington. Victims of Hurricane Ida in 6 states now have until February 15, 2022, extended from January 3rd, to file various individual and business tax returns and make tax payments, the Internal Revenue Service announced today. The updated relief covers the entire state of Louisiana and Mississippi, as well as parts of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. The current list of eligible localities is always available on the Around the Nation section of the disaster relief page on IRS.gov. There's a link to that here as well. The updated relief postpones various tax filing and payment deadlines that occurred, starting on dates that vary by state. August 26, 2021 for Louisiana, August 28, 2021 for Mississippi, August 31st, 2021 for Pennsylvania, and September 1st, 2021 for New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. As a result, affected individuals and businesses will have until February 15, 2022 to file returns and pay any taxes that were originally due during this period. This means individuals who had a valid extension to file their 2020 return that ran out on October 15, 2021 will now have until February 15, 2022 to file. The IRS noted, however, that because tax payments related to these 2020 returns were due on May 17, 2021, these payments are not eligible for this relief. The February 15th extended deadline also applies to quarterly estimated income tax payments that were due on September 15, 2021 and January 18, 2022. This means the taxpayers in these areas can now skip making their estimated tax payments for both the 3rd and 4th quarters of 2021 and instead include them when they file their 2021 return. The February 15th deadline also applies to the quarterly payroll and excise tax returns normally due on November 1st, 2021 and January 31st, 2022. Businesses with an original or extended due date also have the additional time, including, among others, calendar year partnerships and S corporations whose 2020 extensions ran out on September 15th, 2021, and calendar year corporations whose 2020 extensions ran out on October 15th, 2021. It also applies to calendar year tax-exempt organizations whose 2020 extensions ran out on November 15th, 2021. The Disaster Assistance and Emergency Relief for Individuals and Businesses page, there's a link to that here, has details on other returns, payments, and tax-related actions qualifying for additional time. The IRS automatically provides filing and penalty relief to any taxpayer with an IRS address record located in the disaster area. Therefore, taxpayers do not need to contact the agency to get this relief. However, if an affected taxpayer receives a late filing or late payment penalty notice from the IRS that has an original or extended filing, payment, or deposit due date falling within the postponement period, the taxpayer should call the number on the notice to have the penalty abated. In addition, the IRS will work with any taxpayer who lives outside the disaster area but whose records necessary to meet a deadline occurring during the postponement period or are located in the affected area. Taxpayers qualifying for relief who live outside the disaster area need to contact the IRS at 866-562-5227. This It also includes workers assisting the relief activities who are affiliated with a recognized government or philanthropic organization. Individuals and businesses in a federally declared disaster area who suffered uninsured or unreimbursed disaster-related losses can choose to claim them on either the return for the year the loss occurred, in this instance 2021 return normally filed next year, or the return for the prior year 2020. See Publication 547. There's a link to that here for more details. The tax relief is part of a coordinated federal response to the damage caused by Hurricane Ida and is based on local damage assessments by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, F-E-M-A. There's a link to that here. For information on disaster recovery, visit disasterassistance.gov. There's a link to that here. There'll be a link to this in the description.